Hello, Goelzer area, Red Jackets, leaders in our national area and above. Oh my goodness. I don't have my microphone. So if anybody gets on this Hangout, I know I started a little bit early so that you can catch up with it. But when you get on this Hangout, let me know if you can hear me, okay? Otherwise I don't know, I'll have to figure out how to turn myself up. But hopefully you can hear me because I couldn't find my microphone. My amazing assistant, Kim, cleaned my office and now I can't find anything. I was so excited to do this Hangout with you tonight. And at 5 o'clock, our internet went out in our house. The cable went out, the internet went out, everything. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this Hangout? You know, I'm going to have to do a phone call instead, but it came back. And I'm so excited that you can see me live, to see my energy and to see my excitement. And you guys, I just want to share with you something. You know, I love to work my Mary Kay business. I love to work my Mary Kay business. It brings me energy and it brings me joy. And I can, you know, clean out drawers, or I can help Cara spray paint for her wedding, which are all great things, or I can pay my bills, or I can make supper, and I can, you know, watch a movie with my family, and I do all of those things. But you know what? I love my Mary Kay business. And, you know, Nikki Hill left a message for us sales directors and for her unit. And I'm just going to share with you a little, because some of you know that one of her consultants, Nikki Willis, passed away this Friday. She passed away this Friday. She had been battling cancer for months, if not years. And I got to meet her. I got to meet her one time in Houston. Nikki made sure that I met her because she was such an extraordinary, extraordinary woman. She is an extraordinary woman now living in heaven. She is not dead, but she is alive as a Christian. So we're so excited that she is celebrating Holy Week with the angels, as Ryan, Nikki's husband, talked about, and with all of the other believers who have gone before her. She wins. She's got her crown because she was ranking #1 in our national area in the Court of Sales. A woman battling terminal cancer, you guys, was our queen of sales. And so she did not live to get her crown at seminar, but she has received her crown early, her crown of life, and we are so excited for her. Remember, if you're on, someone box me or text me and let me know if you can hear me, okay? So, and so Nikki was sad. Nikki Hill, her sales director, her recruiter, was sad, obviously. You know, she found out about this at career conference. You know, I talked to Nikki today, and Nikki's like, you know what, I just never thought she was going to die. I really didn't. Even when Nikki Willis told me she was going to die, I just didn't want to believe it. And so Nikki's heart hurt. And yet she had a party booked today. Nikki had a party booked today. Top sales director in Mary Kay, #7 at the Irving Career Conference, the biggest career conference in all of the country. And she had a party booked. And Nikki wanted to sit home, and she wanted to not do anything, and she wanted to be sad. Thanks, Miriam McIntosh. You can hear me. I appreciate that. She wanted to be sad, but she'd already pre-profiled the party, and people were coming. And so she went. And you know what? Nikki titled her message that she sent out, "Go be a blessing and you will be blessed." Be a blessing and you will be blessed. Nikki went and for 3 hours didn't think about her hurting heart. She went and focused on other people. And at that party, you know what happened, my friends? She has a new team member who signed on the spot. 7 people there, $300 in sales, 5 new bookings, 50 referrals, and 5 career chats booked. And Nikki had fun. And Nikki had joy in her life. And she brought joy to other people. You guys, when we're sad or we're depressed, a lot of times it just has to be all about us, right? And we're inwardly focused instead of outwardly focused. And so Nikki also quoted Pam Shaw, National Sales Director Pam Shaw, who's had a life, you guys. Oh my goodness. You know, you look at all these amazing women and you think, wow, they're just so beautiful and they're so successful. You know, Pam Shaw's husband died at the age of 40 years old of Lou Gehrig's disease. At the age, maybe he was, I don't know, he was 40 or 45, but he died of Lou Gehrig's disease. And you know what, she's not ever dated, and you know, she doesn't really plan on remarrying unless, you know, God causes that to happen in her life. But she looked at me and she said, you know, we were talking about this because we were at NST Scholar Week together in Dallas, where I really got to build a relationship with Pam. And she said to me, you know what, Heidi, I had 15 years of absolute an amazing life with my husband, and most people don't get that, and I just really celebrate that. And then you guys, her son was 13 years old when his father died, and her son Tommy, and Pam talks about this, Tommy turned to alcohol and became an alcoholic at a very young age. And so not only did Pam need to suffer with her mourning and with her loss of her husband dying, but then to suffer with a struggling teenager as he was going in a different direction with his mourning, and she needed to learn to deal with that, and they needed to get healthy together. Wow. Wow. And we just see her on the stage as a successful Mary Kay, national sales director. We all have life. And Nikki quoted her in her message, and she said this is what Pam said. She said, we all get do-overs. And I love that, you guys. I love that in Mary Kay, we get do-overs. Don't you love that? But then she also said, but we don't get life-overs. We don't get life-overs. You guys, I don't want you to wake up someday and go, I wish I would have. I don't want you to wake up and say, I wish I would have become a sales director in Mary Kay. I wish I would have earned the use of a car. I wish I would have really taken this where I could go with it. I wish I would have earned the money to give my family the choices. Man, I wish I would have held those parties when my kids were young, when they don't remember me walking out the door. They really don't. And I had college education saved for them before they went away to school. I wish I would have done that so that my kids didn't come out with college debt. Boy, I wish I would have worked my Mary Kay business and been successful at it so that my husband could have a choice now in his career. Man, I wish I would have, worked my Mary Kay when I had the opportunity, because my family is now having a life crisis and I don't have the financial means or the flexibility to take care of. You guys, we get do-overs, but we don't get life-overs. We don't get life-overs. And so where do you want to go? As I put together this training for tonight, I'm so passionate about this. The power is in the push. The power is in the working right now. The power is in the party. As Nikki talked about, she went and held that party even when she didn't feel like it. And look at the power that has come from that. Look at it's the new team member. It's the new bookings. It's the new referrals. It's all the sales. It's everything, you guys, that happens with one party. I was talking to Becky Clements this week in my area, in my unit, and she's kind of getting worried and concerned because her goal is to go on target big for her car in Mary Kay and to go into DIQ big on April 1st. And yet, the people that she's talking to, they're not saying yes right now. They're not getting their orders in. They're backing out on their word. Anybody ever have that happen, right? People say, I'm going to do an inventory order, and then they don't call you back. People say they're going to sign up, and then they say, no, not right now. Well, that's what was happening to Becky, because you guys, that's what happens to people who work. Disappointments happen to people who work. But you know what? She went and held a party and a facial on Saturday. And you know what happened from that party and that facial? From that facial, she sold like $150, got a new customer, and worked full circle. From that party, she had a new team member sign on the spot. You guys, anything is possible with God and with bookings on your books. That's when things happen. Otherwise, we're still so stuck in who could have or who would have or who should have. You guys, keep going. If you keep going, you're not going to worry about the ones who aren't, okay? I promise you. Will you still make phone calls to them? Yes, but you're not going to be so fixated on them that you become depressed and discouraged and you get pushy because you're so worried about the people who aren't. When you keep holding parties, there will always be people who will. But here's the deal, my friends. There's power in the push. And today's only March 20th. That is, I don't even know how many days. Counting tomorrow, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 11 days. 11 days left in the month. Have you given up on your goal? Some of you have. Some of you have, or some of you have modified your goal and say, well, that doesn't look realistic. How many of you have ever said that? Realistically, this is what I think is going to happen. This is what we want to talk about tonight. No plan B, sisters. No plan B. If you decided at the beginning of this month to go on target for your car, then doggone it, you are going on target for your car. One person can change your world. One facial can change your world. One party can change your world. One team member can change your world, okay? If you decided to go into DIQ this month, then you're going into DIQ. No plan B. Because if you're already deciding on a plan B, then that's what's going to happen. Plain and simple. If you decided to finish DIQ this month and you've already gotten a plan B, then you're absolutely not going to finish. My friends, the game must be won in your head before it can be won on paper. Are you going out there for the championship? Are you going out there to not lose? Are you playing to not lose, or are you playing to win? You see, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. When you play not to lose, you play safe and you play just good enough. But when you play to win, you go out there and you throw your heart over the line. So my friends, I'm asking you today, tonight, to play to win, to play to win. And so I went back to now one of my new favorite books, The 7 Decisions by Andy Andrews. If you haven't read it yet, girlfriends, get the book. I have it on Kindle and I have it in hardcover. The 7 Decisions by Andy Andrews. He's the same person who wrote The Traveler's Gift. And I went to the 7th decision. I will persist without exception. I will persist without exception. He says this. I'm going to quote a lot of him tonight on our Hangout here. He says, great leaders and great achievers are rarely realists. Did you hear what I said? Great leaders and great achievers are rarely realistic. How many of you said that? Realistically, I'm going to go for this now because there's only 11 days left. And this is what's happened so far. Great leaders and great achievers are rarely realistic. Stop it. If you're living in realistic, then you're not going to be great, my friends. Here we go. I will persist without exception, he says. I will continue despite exhaustion. I compose myself, I compare myself to my potential, not somebody else's, what they've done. I compare myself to my potential. Are you being the best version of yourselves? You know what? We all know this. Good enough is the enemy of great. Are you being great? Not the great Heidi Goelzer, not the great Nikki Hill, not the great Tammy Clouch, not the great Mary McIntosh, the great you. Are you doing your very best, right? Are you giving it your all? That's what you want to ask yourself. This is what he says. He says, I see exhaustion as a precursor to victory. I would rather be exhausted by hard work, my friends, than well rested from laziness. Are you exhausted by the time you go to bed because you have just packed your day? You know, the other day I was exhausted from blessings. Exhausted from blessings, you guys. Your business is a Mary Kay. It's a blessing from God. Are you exhausted from all the blessings? That party that Nikki held tonight, she's going to sleep well tonight. Not from depression, not from mourning, but being exhausted from holding an amazing party. And this is what he says. It is not necessary that I enjoy the process. Did you hear that? It is not necessary that I enjoy the process. You're not going to enjoy everything about the process of becoming a sales director in Mary Kay, but it is necessary that I continue the process. You guys, I don't love booking. I don't love booking. I don't, but I will book because it will get me to the next level. Okay? I don't love making phone calls, but I will make the phone calls because it's going to find my next sales director. You see what I'm saying? And you guys, what first is hard then becomes easy. You don't have to love everything in Mary Kay. You didn't love everything in your other job, and yet you still showed up, didn't you? You still showed up to get the paycheck. I promise you, you will not remember the no's. You will not remember the rejection when you are crossing that seminar stage. Are you visualizing this? Are you taking the time to visualize that victory, my friends? Are you crossing that seminar stage as a brand new sales director? Are you crossing that seminar stage in the beautiful black new suit with your pink flower on it so everybody knows that you're a brand new sales director, with your pink boxing glove? Where's my pink boxing glove? I don't know where it is. With your pink boxing glove, that you have smashed the limiting beliefs that you didn't think you could do it, but you did it. Are you crossing that stage holding your sales director's hand? Are you pumping your fist in victory? Are you seeing that, you guys? Are you crossing that stage to pick up your keys for your free car? Oh my goodness, which cruise are you taking? The red cruise or the white cruise? On your way to the premier level car and on your way to Cadillac, are you visualizing the victory? It is not necessary to always enjoy the process, but it is necessary to continue the process because the prize at the end, my friends, is so worth it. It is so worth it. Oh my goodness. Persistence is a habit, says Andy Andrews. Persistence is a habit. I will persist without exception, but quitting is also a habit. Saying, oh, well, you know what, I tried. What is that? What is that word try? We talked about that last week, right? I'm going to try to pick up my phone. I'm going to try to pick up my phone. Am I going to pick up my phone or am I not going to pick up my phone? When you say the word try, your brain gets confused. We talked about this. I will persist without exception. Persistent becomes a habit. How about that 21-day habit of making those 10 phone calls and making those 10 texts every day? Have you tried it yet? Because the people who are doing it, it's life-changing, you guys. It's life-changing. It's doing what Mary Kay asked us to do. You know, I talked to one of my team members, Amanda Van Hooser, this afternoon. And she said, Heidi, I want to make money in this business. I want to make money. I want to put money in the bank for the future, for what might happen. You know, if you haven't listened to my career conference speech, I put it out there on Voxer for you. You know, I didn't know 18 years ago at that career conference when I made a decision to go on target for my car, when I made a decision to come home and talk to 4 people that I was scared of, my 3 sisters and my best customer, that I thought they're going to think I'm crazy, but I went and did it anyway. Did I know that 17 years later, that Shelly, the person that I recruited right after that career conference, would grow in Mary Kay for 17 years? Did I know that the sisters, the relationships that she created in her Mary Kay business would be the ones to be there to support her to get out of an abusive marriage? Did I know that the money and the flexibility I would be making as a national sales director would help pay for plane tickets and the legal fees and rent and things like that? Did I know that? No. But God did. But God did. Persist, my friends. You get do-overs, but you don't get life-overs. What do you want to do by persisting? Persistence opens doors in life. It opened doors in life to your dreams, to the dreams that you have and the dreams that you don't even know you have yet. Isn't that exciting? As so many of you came back from career conference last weekend and this past weekend, like you just got back last night, did you hear about dreams? Did you hear about that, you guys? And so many of those national sales directors and top directors are living dream lives they didn't even dream about. They didn't even know it was possible. And you can too, because they persisted. You see, Mary Kay in her autobiography will say that I have the bloodiest knees of everybody. I have fallen down more times. I've gotten no's. I've gotten more rejections. Do you guys even know the rejections that Mary Kay had? Do you know that one time at one of her success nights, there was like a coup? I don't even know how to say that word, a coup. But one of the consultants who was there to be trained got up and said, Mary Kay, we're leaving and we're going to go start our own company. Thank you very much. And she walked out with 3/4 of the room and they went and started their own cosmetic company in the middle of a training that Mary Kay was having. Someone took all the things that Mary Kay had taught them and went to go start their own company. And Mary Kay just watched them go. And then she continued training. And I think it was on coaching, the skincare class. You guys, Mary Kay has the bloodiest knees, but she persisted. And because she persisted, she didn't change her own family's life. I mean, they're billionaires. Mary Kay's family are billionaires. Did you know that? But she changed lives literally across the world because she persisted without exception. Did you hear about her first skincare class, her first party, where she sold like a chunk of a concealer? In the olden days, they would cut off concealers and she sold a chunk of it. That's all she sold. And she had to put her life savings on the line to do this. And she drove around the block and she stopped the car and she put her head on a steering wheel and she cried. Mary Kay cried, just like you cry. She had disappointments and she said, doggone it, I got to figure this out. I have put my name on the line. I have put my family on the line. I have put my 9 people who joined me on the line. I got to persist. I have no choice. Do you look at it like that, my friends? Are you going to persist or are you going to go somewhere else? I hope that you persist because I'm passionately believing that there's nothing better out there. There's nothing better out there. So persist without exception and doors will be open. Andy Andrews says, without exception. You see, we talked about persisting, but without exception. And he says, it will be hard. When you decide to persist without exception, expect that it's going to be hard. You need to find a way when there is no way. And that's when miracles show up, you guys. When there's no earthly way to finish going into DIQ by March 31st, that's when the miracles happen. When you just keep working. You know, when we were finishing up our national area, they were many days. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to come together. People are quitting. I don't know what's going on. And you know what I'd say to myself? It does not matter what the eye see. It does not matter what the eye see. It matters what the heart believes. It does not matter what the eye see. It matters what the heart believes. And I believe we're going to finish and I'm going to keep going. And Andy Andrews says, when you're stuck, all you need is an idea. All you need is an idea. One new booking idea. One new 21-day challenge idea. Something new to get your brain going and the creative juices flowing. And that's all you need. When you're stuck, all you need is an idea. So reach up. Call your sales director. She's excited to brainstorm with you, but don't stay stuck. When you persist without exception, expect it to be hard. That's normal. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it, you guys. The top 1% of this company become sales directors, and that's you. Get excited. You're willing to persist without exception, unlike 99% of the people in this company. I'm excited for you to be in the top 1%. That's excellent. That is excellent. He talks about faith versus fear. You know what, my friends? They're two very similar emotions. And when we live in faith, that's finding a way. You don't know how it's going to happen, but you're going to work to find a way. You're going to work to find a way. When you live in fear, you look to find a way out. Are you living in faith right now, or are you living in fear? Fear sees only the obstacles, and faith sees the possibilities. Faith lives in creativity. When you're living in faith, you live in creativity. You find a new way. You get excited about a new idea. When you live in fear, nothing's going to work. Nothing's going to work. Your director's going to give you ideas like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. You decide. Fear is life draining. Faith is life giving. In this business, choose faith. Ralph Waldo Emerson, a famous poet, says, always do what you're afraid to do. Always do what you're afraid to do. Think about that. What are you afraid to do to move forward? Do that, my friends, because that is going to give you the biggest change. Always do what you're afraid to do. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do something that scares you every day. Do something that scares you every day. The great people feel fear and they do it anyway, you guys. The great people don't not have fear. They have tons of fear, but they still go forward and do it. You know, Andy Andrews wrote The Traveler's Gift, right? One of my favorite books. He also wrote the book we're talking about, The 7 Decisions. Do you know that he was rejected 51 times? 51 times before he finally found a way to get it published. And it wasn't even going to the publisher. One day he had dinner and it was with the publisher's wife of a company, and that's who he sold it to. He was living in faith. He knew it was good. He knew he was going to figure it out. Do you believe that? Are you going to figure this out? Are you going to figure it out? I remember as I was finishing DIQ, I remember this vividly. I'm in the bathroom of my bedroom in Louisiana, okay? My husband was a pastor in Louisiana. That's where I started my Mary Kay business, and that's where I was in DIQ. And I was on the phone on the floor. I was often on the floor when I was doing my phone calls. And I was talking to my sales director, and my friends, I needed 10 more active team members in like 2 days. 2 days. 2. You guys have 11. You could have 0 team members right now. Well, you couldn't because you're watching this Google Hangout. So you at least have 3 team members right now, okay? And all you need is 7 more. I needed 10 in 2 days. 10. I'd been working, but it wasn't coming together. People weren't getting active. You know, all that stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I'm on the bathroom floor. And I'm sinking down. And Ann said, my sales director, she said, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know you're going to figure it out. And I just needed her to say that. And so I started making more phone calls. And I got excited. And I called more customers. And I called people who had said no. And I called my consultants. Gabe, I'm doing my Google Hangout. Come say hi. And then you can go. Come say hi. There's Gabe. All right. Say goodbye. See you later. Bye. Okay. So you guys, but I'll never forget those words. She didn't even give me a new idea. She just said, I know you'll figure it out, because I was going to persist without exception. There was no plan B. There was no plan B. Oh my goodness. You see, most people decide on a goal without committing to follow through. And isn't that what Leah Lachlan talked about in the Hangout that she did for our January Jumpstart? We all want it, my friends, right? We make a decision. But have we decided to manage that decision daily? Have you decided to manage that decision? As I was talking to Crystal Pounds this evening, you know, they are going to finish Honor Society. And I said to her, when you wake up every morning, you're looking at your 6 most important list and you're asking yourself, is what I'm doing today getting me closer to finishing Honor Society? Because if it's not in your Mary Kay business, then don't do it. My friends, is what are you doing tomorrow? Is what are you doing tonight? We're going to get off this phone at 7:30, my friends. There's time left. Even if you have Nikki Hill's phone call at 8 o'clock, there's time between 7:30 and 8. What can you do? A half hour is valuable. What can you do to make things happen, to get you to DIQ, to get you through DIQ? Every phone call matters, you guys. Are you willing to manage that decision every day, or are you just going to take what happens? Because that doesn't work in Mary Kay. It doesn't work like that in Mary Kay. Action. What's the action that you're going to take? What is the action that you're going to take? You know, as I was talking to one of my consultants who was getting scared, I said, you know what, the best advice someone once gave me is, she said, whenever you get scared or whenever you freak out, get a booking. Get a booking. Because we go back to the beginning of the Google Hangout where I said anything is possible with God and with bookings. So what is the action you're going to take? What is the action? How many team members do you need? Do you need to get in front of people? Do you need to have parties? Do you need to have conversations? Do you need to invite people to success night? What do you need to get to where you want to go? Go to action on that. You know, what is the goal that you really want in your life? You might say sales director, but you know what? That's the vehicle. That's the vehicle to get you what you want in your life. Do you want to get out of a job? Do you want to have the flexible lifestyle where you don't have to worry about how many vacation days you have? Do you want to have the flexibility to go to a director meeting on a Thursday morning if you want to? Because believe me, you want to. Do you want to have the flexibility to have so many, you don't have vacation days. You don't have to worry about, am I going to have enough for career conference? Am I going to have enough for seminar? No, you're going to be your own boss. Do you want the flexibility to be there at your children's school, to go on the field trips and to be home when they come home and to put them off to school without being a crazy person? Some of you already have that flexibility. You're already stay-at-home moms. Do you want to have the income? Do you want to have the income? You know, I was just figuring out my money again today, and I was thinking in my head and figuring out on paper, how much money do I need to save per month by the time Anastasia goes to college, by the time Gabriel goes to college, to have this much in their savings account? Do you think like that? Do you think like that? You know, as Carson and I are getting ready for the wedding, you know what? It's not an extravagant wedding, but it's going to be an awesome wedding. It is. I'm paying for it cash, you guys. And I'm still a very frugal person, but I'm super excited about what you're doing for it. Can you get excited about the weddings that you can have? Oh my goodness, you guys. Can you get excited about your husband having that flexibility about taking care of your parents? What excites you? Is it influence? You know, one of Jamie Riley's consultants went to career conference, and what she saw were those top directors and those nationals up on that stage telling their story, sharing their passion. Do you want to have influence? Do you want to have a platform where people can hear what you're excited about? Do you? Do you want to have trips of a lifetime? Trips of a lifetime. I was just getting ready for my national trip that we're going on in May. And some of you know that we're going on, you know, Karis is graduating on May 14th. We're leaving on May 15th. We get back on like the 23rd, and Karis gets married on the 27th. And we're going on a cruise that I think leaves out of Portugal and comes back, and we dock back in Barcelona, Spain. And then we go to all these places in between. And I'm working with my national sales director friends to figure out what we're going to do. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine? We have the entire cruise ship, just the national sales directors and their spouses and the staff. Can you imagine? Is that what you're excited about? Then be a sales director. That's the vehicle. That's the path to get you where you want to go in your life, you guys. Don't forget that. You get do-overs, but you don't get life-overs. I remember doing the marketing plan and finding out exactly how much more a sales director made than a team leader. It's triple, right? When you're on target for your car, you can expect your check as a team leader between $500 and $700. As a sales director with that amount, doing the exact same thing is $2,100 to $2,500. And I thought to myself, every moment that I'm not a sales director, I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time, and I'm losing money. I want you to think about that, my friends. It's the same. It's 2 parties a week. It's 2 full circle parties a week, intentional. We do the same thing as a sales director, my friends. We do the same thing. Get there and give yourself the choices that you want. So I'm going to challenge you to brainstorm ways to move forward. What would I do? I'd get a booking. I'd get a booking, because anything can happen with a booking. And your actions, you decide on what actions, big or small, are going to move you forward. Have you taken the 21-day challenge yet? The 21-day challenge. The 21-day challenge. You know what? 21 days to a revival. I talked about a revival in my speech for a career conference. You guys, get back to the basics in Mary Kay. It's not hard. It's not hard. Goelzer. She goes to school in Minnesota. She's home over spring break. So she booked parties at the house because I'm not taking care of customers in Oakfield. In this town of 1,000 people, they need a great consultant. And so she had a party Monday night, $500 in sales, booked everybody for June when she comes home. Tuesday she had that party. Wednesday she had a double facial, $150 in sales, booked another party from that. Today had another facial, $100 in sales. Tomorrow has a party in the house. You guys, she had a $500, $600, $700 week. Get excited about the money that you're making in Mary Kay, you guys. Get excited about the people who need this. This business isn't hard, but are you sharing it? Are you being intentional? Are you showing them your accomplishment sheets? Remember, the best way to recruit is to show your potentials, your weekly accomplishment sheets. Get out of your head and into others. And that's what Nikki talked about. When she held that party tonight, when she wanted to sit in bed and cry, she got out of her head and into others. And who knows? Who knows what life will be changed? Who knows what story she will tell? Who knows what turning point this will be when she says, the day that I wanted to mourn the loss of Nikki Willis, I went out and held a party. Because you guys, that's where she found Nikki Willis. I'm going to tell you something. As I told Nikki this afternoon, we were blessed to know her. Was Mary Kay a blessing in her life? Oh my goodness, absolutely. She loved those of you in the Hill unit and the Collins unit. She loved coming to those success nights. She loved that you loved her. She loved that you brought her food. She loved that you prayed for her. She loved being in your space. She loved having that energy. But she gave us so much more. She was such a woman of passion. And you know what she told me? She said, did I want to have this cancer? Absolutely not. Would I wish it on anybody else? Absolutely not. But I wouldn't change it for the world, for the woman that I've become, for the woman that she became. And where did Nikki meet her? At a party. At a party. Get out of yourself and into others, and you will have more influence. You guys, persist without exception. Do not give up. There are 11 full days left in the month. Miracles happen when you work. I promise you that. And I'm going to give you I'm going to show you some stories to that as I close up the Google Hangout tonight. Kate Unger made a decision January 4 years ago, I don't know, something like that, that on February 1st she would go into DIQ, and she worked and she worked and she worked and she worked, and on the last day of January 31st, she only had 5 active team members, and we all know that she needed 10, but I believed in her, and I knew that she was going to persist without exception, and she went back to some people, and she called some new people, and she talked to some family, and she talked to some friends, and you guys, she did it, and by midnight that night, she had 5 new active team members signed and in the computer and done. She needed 5 on the last day. She persisted without exception. There was no plan B. She went into DIQ on February 1st. She finished with flying colors, earned the use of a car, and finished in 2 months, and went on to be able to quit her job in May. And some of you know the rest of the story, where she got to be there with their mom because her mom suffered from cancer. She got to be there that summer with her, not working another full-time job. She got to be there that fall when God took their mom home to heaven. She got to be there, and she has no regrets. We get do-overs. We don't get life-overs. What would have happened if Kate hadn't persisted without exception? What would have happened? She may have had some regret when God took her mom home to heaven, but she didn't. You guys, you never know what's going to happen. Persist without exception. Brianna Douglas went to career conference, just like some of you, and she was only a senior consultant when she went to that career conference. She came home and she went to work, and by the end of March, she was a team leader. So she got to 5. She had it all planned out. Brianna's a planner. And in March, she was supposed to get to 10. She was supposed to get to 10. That was the plan. And then she would go into DIQ. No, in April, she was supposed to get to 10, and she was going to DIQ on May 1st and debut on that seminar stage in 2 months, because she was going to debut on the 50th anniversary. So she needed to complete DIQ in 2 months. That means she had to go in on May 1st, but she still needed 5 the last 2 days of April. And her senior sales director, Vicki Paul, would not let her off the hook. She would not. And Brianna figured it out, and she persisted without exception, and she went into DIQ needing 5 in 2 days. What about you? Brianna went on to complete DIQ in 2 months, to debut on that seminar stage, and to go on to earn the use of a premier level car. She will now earn the Cadillac by the end of June. She was able to quit her full-time job as a teacher. What will happen in your life when you persist without exception? And finally, Gabe, you need to leave. I'm almost done. Go. Okay, there you go. That's what you saw. All right. And finally, Jamie Riley. Jamie Riley. It was the 20th of the month of October, and she had about $3,000 in production in, but her goal just wasn't to be on target for her car. Her goal wasn't just to be finishing the month of DIQ. Her 1 month of DIQ. Her goal was to finish the entire month of DIQ and earn the car. She had $3,000 in on the 20th of October. On the 31st of October, she finished with 24 active team members and $20,000 in production. She went from 12 to 24 in 11 days and $17,000 in production, because people bring production. And on the last day, the day before the last day of the month, on the 30th, she was doing great. You know, she probably had 20 team members and $15,000 in production, and I was going to let her off the hook. And I said, it is okay, Jamie. You have done amazing things. It is okay if you go into next month. And you know what Jamie really did? She hung up the phone on me. She hung up the phone because I was not persisting without exception. And she was. She hung up the phone and she went to work. And she got it done because she had a goal bigger than the obstacle. She was going to be home with her son she was going to make that happen. You guys, there's story after story of women who persist without exception. Are you going to be one of them? Are you writing your story right now? Are we going to be talking about you on these Google Hangouts for years to come? I hope so. I don't really care where your numbers are right now, because great leaders and great achievers do not live in reality. Make your goals happen. Go out there and don't just do your very best, because that's only as good as you've ever been. I don't know what the words are, but just go finish, my friends. Go finish. Go finish. You don't need a do-over, and we don't get a life over. So go out there and get the goal accomplished. Get into DIQ or finish DIQ. You can do it. And you're the story we're going to be sharing from now on. I believe in you, Goelzer National Area. Bye.